At the end of my previous video on the 5 most important states of the United States of America, I said that I would make a video of the 5 least important states, and I kept my promise and made this video. So let's take a closer look at the 5 least important or worst states of the United States of America. Louisiana is the worst state in the United States on many issues. Crime, poverty, pollution, women in the workforce, etc. are all much worse than the U.S. average. For example, the state has 629 victims of violent crime per 100,000 people. This rate is 65% higher than the national average. Pollution from factories is 3.5 times higher than the national average. 40% of the population is obese. Almost a third of the roads are in poor condition. It is the second worst state in the U.S. for internet access. As a result, it is one of the least favored states in the country. This state poses the biggest problem for working women. It is the worst state in the country for working women. Women who have children here are paid less on average than other working women. This means that Louisiana employers either don't want to hire women with children, or if they do hire them, they pay them less. New Jersey is actually an advantageous state as it is close to major cities like New York and Philadelphia. It also has beautiful beaches on the Atlantic Ocean, well-developed public transportation options, and a strong job market. But the disadvantages of living in this state make it one of the worst states in the country. The most important disadvantage is the high cost of living. For example, real estate prices here are higher than the United States average. In Newark, one of the state's major cities, the cost of living is 18% higher than the national average. One of the most important items that increase the cost of living is the property tax. New Jersey has the highest property tax rates in the U.S. Due to its proximity to major metropolitan areas, such as New York and Philadelphia, it is a crowded state and therefore a state with heavy traffic. Traffic can be a torture during commuting hours. It is one of the most densely populated states in the country. Public places are always busy and crowded. For example, if you are going somewhere with your family on the weekend, you should accept in advance that the place you are going to will be crowded. From Liberty International Airport in Newark, the state capital, you can find flights to many destinations around the world. This is a very important advantage, but this airport is one of the worst in the U.S. It is also problematic in terms of transportation. Arkansas is one of the most rural states in the United States. For this reason, its inhabitants feel as if they are cut off from the world, isolated from the rest of the country. Its largest cities, Little Rock and Pine Bluff, with populations under 200,000, are ranked among the worst cities in the U.S. Being a rural state, people have difficulty accessing basic services, especially education and healthcare. For example, it is the fourth least educated state in the country. As a result, job opportunities are very low. Public transportation infrastructure is also very limited. For people without access to a private car, living here is challenging. Yes, cars are cheap in the United States, but Arkansas is one of the poorest states in the country. This state is also prone to natural disasters. On average, there are around 40 tornadoes a year. It has the highest number of lightning strikes per square mile in the U.S. In addition to natural disasters, the local wildlife is dangerous. Many species of venomous snakes live here. The bobcat and bear population is also high. Arkansas is one of the poorest states in the U.S., yet it has the third highest sales tax rate in the country. It cannot be called an unsafe state, but crime rates are above average. The violent crime rate is 550 per 100,000 inhabitants. Theft crime is around 3,000 per 100,000 inhabitants. According to WalletHub, the state of Alabama is definitely one of the worst states to live in. According to a survey conducted by CNBC, it is also one of the worst states to work in the U.S. According to WalletHub's results, the state scored poorly in terms of the high number of people with health problems, the high poverty rate, the low number of insured people, the high number of working hours per week, and the sparse number of restaurants per capita. It is also the worst southern state for women. It has the worst scores for women in terms of political participation, wages, poverty, health, and welfare. It is the third worst state in the U.S. for children's health, according to research by the Voice for Alabama's Children. The same study found that a quarter of Alabama's children live in poverty and a fifth live in food insecurity. It also had the fourth worst infant mortality rate. On average, there are about 7 infant deaths for every 1,000 births. Alabama is a state with very strict alcohol bans. In some parts of the state, there are no businesses selling alcoholic beverages, while in others, alcohol is only sold on weekdays. In addition, spirits are only sold in establishments owned by the state government. The people of Alabama are also conservative, in fact, one of the most conservative in America. In fact, the locals are very friendly, hospitable, and helpful on short visits. However, if someone comes from abroad, settles here and stays for a long time, they may face cultural problems. For example, in this state, it is advisable not to engage in a debate against individual armament, because the people strongly believe that individual armament is a right. It is an ideal place for those who love hot weather. On average, the state has 210 days of sunshine a year. Even in winter, it is mild here, but there are 2 downsides. First, the humidity levels are very high. Secondly, Alabama is known as the cockroach state. At some times of the year, even the state's major cities can be infested with cockroaches. Most people living in the country agree that Mississippi is the worst state in the United States. Mississippi is the poorest state in the United States. It ranks last in terms of health, education, and development. Related to all this, it also has the highest poverty rate. In Mississippi, the lowest income state, 21% of people live below the poverty line. This is the worst rate in the United States. Despite being a poor and impoverished state, it has the 15th highest tax rate in the U.S. The quality of healthcare here is also very poor. It has the worst scores in access to doctors, hospital services, public health, wages, average emergency room waiting time, and more. As a result, it has the lowest life expectancy in the U.S. at 75 years. In addition, Mississippi is also prone to natural disasters. It is on the coast of the Gulf of Mexico, which has the highest number of hurricanes in the world. On average, they experience 27 hurricanes every year. 2 of the 5 deadliest hurricanes in the history of the United States have occurred in this state. We have come to the end of our video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment about your views on the video for more videos like this. See you in new videos.